Nick Viall slammed by RHOC OG Vicki Gunvalson post-podcast. Nick Viall got quite the shock when he had rock OG, Vicki Gunvalson on the Viall files. He was then slammed by the OG of the OC post-podcast when she forgot to hang up her phone as she had called in. So, what did Vicki have to say, and more so, what was the Bachelor alum's reaction? Keep reading for further details. Nick Viall slammed by rock OG Vicki Gunvalson. Vicki Gunvalson and Nick Viall should get along very well given that they are quite opinionated. He never holds back his feelings about reality television, hot topics, and even his guests. Yet, things took an unexpected turn when the OG of the OC phoned in on the latest episode of the Viall Files. She was vacationing at her home in Mexico, so she did the interview from there. Of course, it was a thrill to have her on, but not so much when she ended the call. Or, so she thought she ended the call. According to Us Weekly, Vicki thought that she had hung up, as did Nick and his co-hosts. However, she was quickly heard still on the line, unaware of what was going on. Vicki then proceeded to talk poorly about Nick, claiming she had never heard of him and just did the interview as a favor. More so, Vicki stated that it was a favor to someone's dad, but that person remains a mystery. Vicki's hot mic moment started like this. Nick Viall and his crew stopped, their jaws on the floor as they realized Vicki Gunvalson had no idea she was still on the phone. She then went on to point out how she did not know Nick's name and had never heard of him. Are fans shocked this happened? After hearing what Vicki Gunvalson had to say after her interview with Nick Viall, were fans all that shocked at what she said? Furthermore, did they think it was all that bad or just typical Vicki behavior? She is so chaotic, this is hysterical. This was so chaotic. Giving Ramona for sure. We're happy you're here. Good. Family van energy face with tears of joy. Why is this the only way you could get me to listen to Nick Viall? I just listened to this and heard the hot mic at the end and I'm screaming. Someone pointed this out which could pull everything together. I think she meant Hurrdat Entertainment, that's the company who produces her podcast, I believe. So, if that is the case, it does not justify her not researching Nick before going on his podcast, but it clears up the dad situation. It was meant to be a light-hearted podcast episode, blending the worlds of Bachelor Nation and Bravo's Housewives universe. But when Nick Viall invited the Real Housewives of Orange County OG Vicki Gunvalson to his popular podcast, The Viall Files, things took a turn for the dramatic, a genre in which both parties were no strangers. The episode, aired on a crisp Monday morning, started innocently enough. Nick and Vicki sparred over the trials of reality TV fame, the pitfalls of dating in the public eye, and what it really meant to be the OG of the OC. Vicki, armed with her signature combination of unfiltered opinions and charm, bantered with Nick about his bachelor journey, playfully jabbing at his numerous stints on the show. 3 times to find love, Nick. Honey, maybe you're the common denominator, she quipped, her laugh echoing through the studio. Nick took the jab in stride, but his demeanor shifted slightly when the conversation turned to Bravo dynamics. So, Vicki, he began, leaning forward, you're pretty vocal about the new Housewives. Do you ever think maybe it's time to pass the torch? It was a loaded question. Vicki's eyes narrowed. Pass the torch. Nick, I built the torch. Without me, there wouldn't even be a flame for these girls to hold. I paved the way for all these wannabes. Tension was palpable, but the real fireworks came later, after the podcast aired. Fans tuned in, expecting a fun crossover between 2 reality TV titans, but what they got was an episode brimming with subtle digs and escalating tension. The aftermath. Hours after the episode dropped, Vicki took to Instagram Live, wine glass in hand, to air her grievances. Nick Viall thinks he can come for me. Please, she scoffed, her voice dripping with indignation. I was selling insurance and running a business before that man was handing out roses on national television. He's just another guy trying to stay relevant by riding the coattails of stronger women. The comments section lit up like a 4th of July fireworks display. Fans of both franchises picked sides, some defending Nick as a host who simply asked tough questions, while others rallied behind Vicki, calling out Nick for what they perceived as condescension. "Tell him, Vicki. #OG forever," one fan wrote. "Nick was just doing his job. Don't take it personally," another countered. But Vicki wasn't done. She posted a follow-up Instagram story, doubling down on her stance. "He called me irrelevant. Me. The woman who started Bravo's longest-running Housewives franchise. Who does he think he is?" Nick, never one to back down from a public spat, responded on his own social media. "Love having Vicki on the podcast," he wrote. "She's a legend, no doubt. But legends should also know when to let others shine. It's called growth." If Nick thought his measured response would de-escalate the situation, he clearly underestimated Vicki Gunvalson. Enter Tamra Judge. No Vicki feud would be complete without her partner in crime, Tamra Judge. Always ready to ride or die for her bestie, Tamra jumped into the fray with her signature sharp wit. "Nick Viall needs to sit down," she tweeted. "He's been irrelevant since Paradise. Let's be real, without the Viall files, who's even talking about him?" Tamra's comment added fuel to the fire, sparking an all-out social media war between fans of Bravo and Bachelor Nation. Memes flooded Twitter, comparing Vicki's iconic whoop-it-up moments to Nick's awkward kisses on The Bachelor. Even Andy Cohen weighed in during an episode of Watch What Happens Live. "I mean, Nick versus Vicki. That's not even a fair fight. Vicki's been doing this longer than Nick's been trimming his beard," Andy joked, earning laughs from his live audience. A deeper feud. As the drama unfolded, rumors began swirling that this wasn't the first time Nick and Vicki had clashed. An anonymous source close to the situation claimed there was tension even before the podcast recording. Nick wanted to focus on her business ventures and how she's staying relevant post-RHOC, the source revealed. But Vicki wanted to talk about her legacy on the show and why Bravo needs her back full-time. They just weren't on the same page. The insider added that Nick's producers had suggested a few spicy questions to stir the pot, something Vicki allegedly didn't appreciate. She felt ambushed, the source said. And if you know Vicki, you know she doesn't take kindly to that. The Bravo family reacts. The fallout didn't just stay between Nick and Vicki. Other housewives weighed in, eager to throw their own shade or support. Shannon Beater, known for her loyalty to Vicki, posted a cryptic Instagram story. "Some people should stick to handing out roses and leave the drama to the pros." Meanwhile, Kelly Dodd, never one to miss an opportunity for controversy, sided with Nick. "Vicki always plays the victim," she said during her podcast. "Nick just asked her a question.